Oh, hello there. Are you ready already for another poem? Well, I got one for you you're going to like today, kids. This is by a poet by the name of Robert William Service. Robert Service, a name that my parents would have known fairly well, and their parents even better. But today, you can ask 1,000 people. You'll be lucky to find one who's heard of Robert Service. But he's a very good poet. He was born in England of Scottish parents and raised in Canada mostly, worked as a bank clerk in Canada and really liked the stories about the west of Canada, the snow, the guys, pushing their dog sleds through the blizzards and living out west, so in the gold mines, that sort of thing. In fact, here's a picture of the sort of thing that he really liked. He was really big on this. So it gives you a feel for where we're going in this poem. Doesn't look like a real warm setting there, does it? That's not Sam, by the way. That's not Robert Service. Now let's get started here. There are strange things done in the midnight sun by the men who moil for gold. The Arctic trails have their secret tales that would make your blood run cold. But the northern lights have seen queer sights, but the queerest I ever did see was the night on the marge of Lake Labarge, where I cremated Sam McGee. Now, Sam McGee was from Tennessee, where the cotton blooms and blows. Why he left his home in the South to roam round the pole, God only knows. He was always cold, but the land of gold seemed to hold him like a spell, though he'd often say in his homely way, I'd just as soon live in hell. On a Christmas day, we were mushing out our way over the Dawson Trail. Talk of your cold, through the parka's fold it stabbed like a driven nail. If our eyes we'd closed, then the lashes froze, till sometimes we couldn't see. It wasn't much fun, but the only one to whimper was Sam McGee. And that very night, as we lay packed tight in our robes beneath the snow, and the dogs were fed, and the stars overhead were dancing heel and toe, he turned to me and, Cap, he says, I'll cash in this trip, I guess, and if I do, I'm asking that you won't refuse my last request. Well, he seemed so low, I couldn't say no, so he says with a sort of a moan, it's this cursed cold, and it's got right hold till I'm chilled clean through to the bone. Yet it ain't being dead. It's my awful dread of the icy grave that pains. So I want you to swear that foul or fair, you'll cremate my last remains. A pal's last need is a thing to heed, so I swore I would not fail. And we started out at the streak of dawn, but God, he looked ghastly pale. He crouched on the sleigh and he raved all day about his home back in Tennessee. And before nightfall, a corpse was all that was left of Sam McGee. Now, there wasn't a breath in that land of death, and I hurried, horror-driven, with a corpse half hid that I couldn't get rid because of a promise given. It was lashed to the sleigh, and it seemed to say, you may tax your brawn and your brains, but you promised true, and it's up to you to cremate these last remains. Now, a promise made is a debt unpaid, and the trail has its own stern code. In the days to come, though my lips were dumb, though through in my heart how I cursed that load. In the long, long night, by the lone firelight, while the huskies, round in a ring, howled out their woes to the homeless snows. Oh, God, how I hated that thing. And every day the quiet clay seemed to heavy and heavier grow, and on I went, though the dogs were spent and the grub was getting low. The trail was bad, and I felt half bad, but I swore I would not give in, and I'd often sing to the hateful thing, and it hearkened with a grin, till I came to the marge of Lake Labarge, and a derelict there lay. It's an old ship. It was jammed in the ice, but I saw in a trice it was called the Alice May. And I looked at it, I thought a bit, and I looked at my frozen chum. And then here, said I with a sudden cry, is my crematorium. Some planks I tore from the cabin floor, and I lit the boiler fire. Some coal I found that was lying around, and I heaped the fuel higher. The flames just soared, and the furnace roared, such a blaze you seldom see, and I burrowed a hole in that glowing coal, and I stuffed in Sam McGee. Then I made a hike, for I didn't like to hear him sizzle so. And the heavens scowled, and the huskies howled, and the wind began to blow. 'Twas icy cold, but the hot sweat rolled down my cheeks, and I don't know why, and the greasy smoke in an inky cloak went streaking through the sky. I do not know how long in the snow I wrestled with grisly fear, that the stars came out and they danced about ere I ventured again so near. I was sick with dread, but I bravely said, I'll just take a peek inside. I guess he's cooked, and it's time I looked, and the door I opened wide. And there sat Sam, looking cool and calm, in the heat of that furnace roar. And he wore a smile you could see a mile. And he said, please close that door. It's fine in here, but I greatly fear you'll let in the cold and storm, since I left Plumtree down in Tennessee, the first time I've been warm. There are strange things done in the midnight sun by the men who moil for gold. The Arctic trails have their secret tales that would make your blood run cold. The northern lights have seen queer sights, but the queerest they ever did see was a night on the marge of Lake Labarge when I cremated Sam McGee. Thanks for listening. Check back next time.